Howdy. Thank you for joining me in this talk. I'm calling The Power of Awareness. It's getting a little chilly outside, so I decided to start the fire, do a video indoors. I want to start the video by kind of just proving my point, like how powerful awareness is. To me, it's almost the core of everything. It's like if you really think of what you are, your consciousness, you're aware of your experience, it's sort of the first thing that needs to happen before anything else. Like, if there's no awareness, there really can't be anything. Think about that one. But, if I was aware of the lottery numbers tomorrow, and I went down to the gas station and did the numbers, won myself millions of dollars. Like, that's pretty powerful to have that sort of awareness. I've just learned so many things in my life because I've been open to them instead of closed. So some of these things that I'm aware of, I feel give me great power, where a lot of people have lost that power entirely and end up suffering because of it. So something I'm aware of is that I can heal my eyes. I've been taking pearl powder. I definitely noticed some sharper vision in my eyes, but you also can exercise your eyes. It's great to look into the sun. It's what they tell you not to do to heal your eyes, but I know that's how you heal your eyes. Sun gazing. But most people aren't aware that you can heal your eyes. They're told they're done, and they just get worse. And as a matter of fact, like wearing glasses, contacts, which I have contacts in right now. I'm still in that medical system and sort of stuck with the vision I have. It's too blurry right now to really just get the contacts off, get the glasses off, and go for it. But wearing contacts and glasses damages your eyesight. It's like a crutch. Your eye is a muscle that needs to be exercised. So it's just my whole life I've kind of had this issue with my eyes. I think it's because I was playing a Game Boy in my car seat. As like a child, I was looking at stuff really up close, looking at TVs, and should have a wiser society that doesn't really do that to kids and then make money off of their eyes being off in the first place. But anyway, I'm aware I can heal my eyes. That gives me power. I mean, geez, like a really easy thing everybody should be aware of is do not drink your tap water if you live in a city because they put fluoride in it. If you were just aware of that one thing, that they're poisoning your tap water, and that if you drink that tap water, it's going to mess up your teeth, it's going to get into your brain and calcify your pineal gland, your inner light, your crystal that needs to be clear. But if you don't know that they're poisoning the water intentionally to dumb you down, it seems like you can become less aware of things if you don't even know that simple thing. So I just wanted to, bring up a couple examples of real life things where awareness is key. And a lot of people can go their whole life unaware of these things I just mentioned. And they live their life, they have fun, it is what it is. But I'd rather be aware than ignorant. I think another major problem with awareness is the children. And how when you're born into this world, you're basically an empty slate, and you're barely even aware that you're you until you're like 7 or 8. I had a profound experience when I was about 7 or 8. Within my mind, I sort of realized, like, whoa, hey, I'm like talking to myself, and I'm aware that I am, right? Like, that's something only humans have, is this awareness that they even are. I mean, you figure the animals, the plants, they have to have some awareness. But I just think it's kind of a human thing to actually have the full awareness and be able to grow it. And you're not just, like a plant just has to sit there and suck in the sunlight. The animal just has to go collect its nuts or go eat the other prey animals, that it captures. It's kind of stuck in a rhythm of what it's aware of. It's like you're not going to see a animal become vegan that's a carnivore. It can't. It's not aware that they can do that, So just trying to say that awareness is kind of being aware that you even are is sort of a special thing that only humans have. Being aware of who you truly are is probably the most powerful thing anybody could ever know. It's why I try every day get a little closer to the truth of who I am. And it's like the more you get into that space, the more you realize you're infinite. And the story that you've had in the past, just a tiny little sliver of what's to come. I just keep thinking of, as each year goes by, I had a plan and I thought this was going to happen, and then this whole other paradigm comes in front of me in that year and changes everything. And it's hard to even tell where you're going to be in the future when you're so open to things. It's exciting, and growing your awareness, it's a powerful thing. Instead of just deciding like this is it, and I know who I am. I'm this. End of story. I'm going to do that for the end of my life here. There's a big danger in not allowing yourself to become more aware of the infinite you instead of the temporary you. A lot of times I like to talk about our ego or our temporary character that we're living. I think a lot of people are into this now, and they're really starting to talk about it and realize our true nature of divinity and infinity, and how we're just having this crazy experience right now in one of the most heavy and dense material times to ever come. And how you gotta remind yourself it's temporary. And I tell you, lately, I'm always challenging myself and my thoughts. And a lot of times I'm trying to think of a solution to a problem. And what I've become aware of is the limitations of my mind. I have all of these desires I want. I have a lot of passions. I guess the best way is just a desire. I feel like that's the only reason I'm here, is I desire to be manifested in the material, and to have this material situation going on. And I have a lot of things I'd like to accomplish here. I'm sure you're the same way. And how your mind can eat away at you. And make you think that you aren't worth what you desire, or that you messed up and now you can't get what your desire is, when simply you need to be aware your mind is limited. You came into this realm and this mind was created here. It's not all that there is. It's extremely limited. It's extremely finite. And on top of your mind being finite and not having all the answers, you have to realize you've been raised to speak a language that is limited as well. The English language is built for spellcasting and trickery. Let me tell you, I've done enough studies on words and how for some reason, when you think, look back at hieroglyphs, look back at ancient cultures and how they had all these pictures. They had all these pictures on the walls and all of these symbols and things that it was more direct. You see a picture of a bull, everybody agrees that's a bull. There's a picture of it. You can't really argue about that. But when you get into the English language, you could argue about every single word. I love this. Do you really love pizza? Or why don't you marry it? Do you love yourself? Or do you love people? It's like you can use one word and misconstrue it to all these different ways. And I believe that was done on purpose, so that you use that misconstruing language within yourself to constantly confuse yourself. I hope I haven't lost you here. But if you're following, I'm talking about the limitation of your mind. And then on top of that, you have words that are going on in your mind that are limited and built for magic and spellcasting. The words that we use today are not built for truth and just straight up honesty. I have to say so much to get a little bit of truth out. And I know it was not like this in the past. I know that this has been built purposefully. And people don't have time. They don't want to sit down and really think through the words they're saying and to have exact meanings to them. And I'm not trying to be some like, hey, this is always got to mean that. It's just be direct. Have direct language as best you can. Don't beat around the bush and obfuscate. It's an easy way to be lazy and not get things done when you don't use direct language. You can always say, well, they meant that, or it was this, or there's always some weaselly way to explain things. But I'm done with that. I'm about direct language. I'm about being aware that the words I use are spelling and spellcasting, and that I could trick myself inside my mind with these words. I'm aware of that, and I'm working on it. I just don't think a lot of people even see that point of the language you speak has a profound effect on your mind. I'm sure Spanish has a whole different situation they have to deal with when they're talking to themselves within their mind. It might be easier. It might not be as confusing. What if you were aware that the real you is invisible energy that is surrounding your body right now and producing this life you have? What if you were aware that your infinite energy, just having this temporary material experience, all the religions point to this. They just like to force a belief, and then it becomes a material thing, and people can control you, you know, once you start to believe that it's this or that, instead of just being aware that you're it, and it doesn't matter what all of these religions, all these people have to say about it. We're all already a part of eternity. We're all already divine. Some people just play a dirty game in their divine lives. There's a lot of tricksters. I want to make the point that if you were aware of the tricks being played, you wouldn't fall into the traps. I feel like that's kind of my bread and butter, is trickster stuff. I can't explain it. I don't know why. I just have a gut instinct and a mind and a vision. I can see tricksters. I can snuff them out. You just give me a little bit of time with them. You know, I'll give people the benefit of the doubt. But over time, I have this ability to suss out truth. I just can't help it. And so that's why I'm sharing this with you. Because it's my superpower, I think, is to show you the tricksters, the tricks and the traps being played on you, you know, because I've had them played on me, and then you sort of realize how you're playing tricks on yourself, and how nobody can hurt you except yourself. Yeah, I kind of want to close with this idea. You're the only one that can harm yourself. Think about that deeply. In closing, I want to talk about how you're the only one that can hurt you. Nobody outside of you can hurt you. I know it sounds crazy. I know you weren't raised that way. You were raised to believe that there's all these people out to get you. All these people out there that want to hurt you. And then as you grow older, what do they tell you? There's people in all these countries around the world that want to take your freedom away. You know, there's all these others that are surrounding you, wanting to do something to you, right? So if you are just a materialist, you might as well, you wouldn't be watching this, right? But a materialist is separated from their true self. So that's all that they know is there's others and they're an other, there's an other there. There's no deep connection to all things. And this is why I am so passionate about awareness and about the power of your own awareness. You need to be aware that nobody can hurt you. You're the one that's hurting yourself. And you could take that on its face value and call me crazy and go hurt somebody and then say, look, well, then I hurt, look, the other hurt the other. Go ahead. It's happening all day, every day with people. It still don't make it true. Especially if you're the one hurting others. Oh man, you must really be hurting yourself. You see, it all circles back around. It's all connected far deeper than the surface of the skin we wear. I've decided to not hurt myself anymore. And by that I mean like thinking of how others are going to come take my things away if I don't pay them. I guess for me, if I'm going to talk about this, about how, you're the only one that can hurt yourself, I've been the one hurting myself in my life. I try to look around at who's hurting me. And it was more of an inner mind hurt. A lot of my life I've had to think about the government and about how it's out to get me. And how I have to pay these people, I have to play their game, and how there's all these others that will hurt me if I don't. And it was a decision I made in my mind to think that way. And I'm getting rid of it. They can't hurt me. This isn't even the real me, if you get my drift. The temporary character, it's a lot of fun. But it's not you. And you shouldn't let it hurt the real you. And you can decide for yourself if other people are allowed to hurt you or not. Because most of the time, and I guess a very easy example is like we just had the election, and of course everybody's heard all the Democrats are hurting themselves because they heard the news, right? Like the media led them on the whole time that their side was going to win, and then what do you know? Rugs pulled out from under them. You know who got in, and now they're all hurting themselves. Like you're hearing of people committing, suicide because of the election. They decided to hurt themselves. I don't know what to say. Like, I've decided all that is theater and stage acting. I know what those people are up to. They just lie their entire lives to harness the power of the naive, play games with naive people, smash them against each other. I don't play that game. But I see a lot of people playing that game and hurting themselves. So I think you get my drift on how you're the only one that can hurt yourself. You need to realize these things. Because most of the time we're just sitting here fine and everything's okay. All these Democrats that are hurting themselves, they're just sitting in their homes fine. They have food, they have shelter, they don't have problems. They've made the problem in their mind. But it's because they allowed a trickster to swoop on in, have his way. So, like always, I want you to be self-sufficient. I want you to have your own awareness and not have it used against you. So I hope you enjoyed this message. I love you.